Hey everyone, welcome to Motion English Podcast. In today's session, we're going to do more than sharpen your listening. We'll also grow your vocabulary, polish your sentence structures, and work on the kind of advanced English that pushes you toward the C1 level. This lesson is all about building vocabulary that makes you sound natural, self-assured, and fluent in everyday situations. We'll dig into expressions, phrases, and sentence patterns that fluent speakers use almost automatically. Whether you're chatting casually, writing something formal, or unpacking a complicated idea, richer vocabulary is what unlocks real confidence and fluency. By the time this lesson wraps up, you won't just understand how to use advanced vocabulary in different situations, you'll have practiced it with me, step by step. So it actually sticks and starts showing up naturally in your own speech. Before we get going, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of Motion English Podcast. Now settle in, and if you'd like, grab a notebook to jot down the words and phrases as we go. Let's start working toward that C1 fluency. Reaching C1 isn't about memorizing obscure words from a dictionary, it's about using vocabulary naturally, in context, with confidence. Think about the difference between I am very tired and I am completely exhausted. They mean the same thing, but the second version feels stronger, sharper, and more natural at a higher level. As we go, I want you to shadow me, repeat what I say slowly and clearly. This builds your feel for the rhythm and pronunciation of these advanced phrases. Let's try it. I am very tired. Now repeat, I am completely exhausted. Good, you can hear the difference, right? At C1, small swaps like this make your English sound noticeably richer and more precise. Here's another pair. Instead of the movie was very good, try the movie was absolutely brilliant. Instead of she is very smart, try she's remarkably intelligent. Stronger adjectives like these elevate your English. Not to show off, but to give you more precision and variety. Let's do a quick drill. Imagine describing a recent trip. A basic sentence, the place was very beautiful. At C1, the place was breathtakingly beautiful. Repeat that slowly. The place was breathtakingly beautiful. Can you feel how it paints a stronger picture for the listener? At this level, fluency also means being able to express the same thought in more than one way. Instead of only saying, I don't know, you could say, I'm not entirely sure, or I can't say with certainty. These alternatives sound both more advanced and more polite in professional situations. Let's practice, I'm not entirely sure. Again, I can't say with certainty. Now picture someone at work or school asking you a tough question instead of freezing up. These phrases give you a natural way to respond. Let's talk about connectors, because smoothly linking your ideas is one of the clearest signs of true fluency at C1. Words like moreover, nevertheless, consequently, and on the other hand, let your sentences flow the way a native speaker's would. For example, I was tired, nevertheless I finished the project on time, or she studied hard, consequently she passed with excellent marks. Repeat these slowly, I was tired. Nevertheless, I finished the project on time. She studied hard, consequently she passed with excellent marks. These are the kinds of sentences that'll serve you well in both speaking and writing. Picture real situations where these words could come up: a job interview, a university seminar, or just chatting with friends. Weaving advanced vocabulary naturally into these moments is exactly what carries you from intermediate to advanced. For practice, try describing your weekend using one advanced connector. For example, I wanted to stay home. On the other hand, my friends talked me into going out. Repeat that after me. Now build your own version in your head and say it out loud. That's how you train advanced English daily, by taking ordinary situations and lifting the language with richer vocabulary and smoother connectors. Keep in mind that this isn't a race. It's about practicing slowly, repeating often, and letting new words and structures settle into your natural speech. That's why we're building this step by step. Vocabulary, pronunciation, and everyday examples you can put to use right away. One thing that really separates C1 speakers from lower levels is choosing exactly the right word for the situation. It's not about vocabulary size, it's about precision. Instead of he said something, an advanced speaker might say he remarked, he commented, or he pointed out. Each choice carries a slightly different nuance. And that's exactly what gives your English its polished feel. Let's practice. He remarked that the meeting was too long. He commented on the design of the presentation. He pointed out a mistake in the report. Notice how each version feels a little different. That's vocabulary in action. Choosing the precise word for the exact meaning you're after. Idiomatic expressions are another key area at C1. Native speakers weave idioms in so naturally that conversations feel more colorful and alive. Instead of "I'm very nervous," you could say "I have butterflies in my stomach." Instead of "it was easy," try "it was a piece of cake." Instead of "stop wasting time," try "stop beating around the bush." Let's practice. I have butterflies in my stomach. It was a piece of cake. Stop beating around the bush. These are phrases you can drop into everyday conversation right away. Imagine telling a friend before an exam, "I've got butterflies in my stomach." Instantly more natural, more advanced. Now let's expand how you agree and disagree. At lower levels, people often just say "I agree" or "I don't agree." At C1, you have more range. Instead of "I agree," try "I couldn't agree more," "That's absolutely true," or "I see your point." And "I share the same view." Instead of "I don't agree," try "I'm afraid I can't share that view," "That's not quite how I see it," or "I beg to differ." Let's practice. I couldn't agree more. That's absolutely true. I beg to differ. That's not quite how I see it. Picture a classroom discussion or a work meeting where you need to respond politely but firmly. These phrases give you the confidence to speak clearly without sounding blunt or overly simple. Storytelling ability matters too. At an advanced level, you're expected to add detail, use descriptive language, and build interest as you explain events. Take a plain sentence, "I went to the park yesterday." At C1, yesterday I spent a quiet afternoon at the park. Soaking up the fresh air and watching families enjoy the sunshine. Notice how the second version paints an actual picture. Repeat it slowly. Yesterday I spent a quiet afternoon at the park, soaking up the fresh air and watching families enjoy the sunshine. Now think of an everyday activity, cooking dinner. Running errands, and try expanding it with extra detail, descriptive words, or a touch of emotion. That's exactly how you climb from B2 to C1, by making your language more vivid. Transitions matter constantly to advanced speakers since they guide the listener through what you're saying. Phrases like "to begin with," "in addition," "as a result," "in contrast," and "on the whole" keep your speech structured and smooth. Let's repeat a few. To begin with, in addition, as a result, on the whole. Next time you describe your day or share an opinion, try weaving in one or two of these. Here's a short exercise. Imagine describing your morning routine. Basic: I woke up, I ate breakfast, I went to work. Advanced: to begin with, I woke up early to get ready for the day. In addition, I had a healthy breakfast that gave me some energy. As a result, I felt productive and ready to tackle my tasks at work. Repeat this slowly and notice how the transitions carry the story along smoothly. At C1, your vocabulary should also let you express emotions and opinions with more subtlety. Instead of simply "I like it," you might say "I find it fascinating," "I really appreciate it," or "I'm genuinely impressed." Instead of "I don't like it," try "it doesn't really appeal to me," or "I'm not particularly fond of it." Let's practice. I find it fascinating. I really appreciate it. It doesn't really appeal to me. I'm not particularly fond of it. These softer, more nuanced phrases are a real marker of advanced communication. Practice is everything here, so here's a small challenge. Today, when you're talking to someone, swap one simple word or phrase for a more advanced alternative from this lesson. Maybe "very good" becomes "outstanding," or "I don't know" becomes "I can't say with certainty." Each time you do this, you're building your C1 English one brick at a time. Managing emphasis is another important C1 skill. You don't always need "very" or "really" to strengthen an idea. More precise words do the job better. Instead of "very hungry," try "starving." Instead of "really cold," try "freezing." Instead of "very big," try "enormous" or "gigantic." Let's practice. I'm starving, it's freezing outside, the house was enormous. Now think of a sentence you use often. Like I'm very happy. At C1 you might say I'm delighted, I'm overjoyed, or I'm thrilled, each expressing a slightly different shade of feeling. Here's a small exercise, describing your weekend to a friend. Instead of "the concert was very good," try "the concert was phenomenal." Instead of "the restaurant was very bad," try "the restaurant was dreadful." Practicing this way trains your brain to reach for stronger vocabulary automatically. Collocations are another step toward advanced fluency, words that naturally pair together. We say "make a decision," not "do a decision." We say "strong coffee," not "powerful coffee." And we say "heavy rain," not "big rain." These word pairings are what make your English sound natural and effortless. Let's practice a few: make progress, catch a bus, break the news, keep a promise, pay attention, run a business. Notice how naturally they roll off the tongue. At C1, learning collocations often matters more than memorizing single words because they show you exactly how vocabulary functions in real speech. Let's build a quick story using some of these collocations. Listen, then repeat after me slowly. Yesterday, I made a decision to run a small business online. In the morning, I caught a bus into town to pick up supplies. On the way, a friend called to break the news that she was moving abroad. I promised to keep in touch, and I paid close attention to everything she said. By the end of the day, I felt like I'd made real progress. That's a natural story built entirely around collocations you can borrow for your own conversations. Hedging language is another essential C1 skill, softening your statements to sound more polite, professional, or cautious. Instead of "this is wrong," try "I'm not sure that's entirely correct." Instead of "you are late," try "it seems you've arrived a bit later than expected." This kind of language shows up constantly in academic, business, and even casual settings because it feels respectful and balanced. Let's practice. I'm not entirely sure. It seems that, it appears to be, from my perspective, as far as I can tell. These phrases let you share an opinion without sounding blunt or overly direct. Especially valuable in professional or international settings. Modal verbs for speculation and deduction are another powerful tool. He must be tired means you're fairly sure. He might be tired means it's possible. He can't be tired means you think it's basically impossible. These small shifts add real flexibility to your English. Let's practice with everyday examples. She must be at work, the lights are on. He might be busy, he hasn't answered his phone. That can't be true, I saw it with my own eyes. Practicing modals this way trains you to express different levels of certainty. Possibility and impossibility, a genuinely key C1 skill. Now let's move to discourse markers, phrases that organize your thoughts and make conversation feel natural. Things like "frankly speaking," "between you and me," "if I'm honest," "to be fair," and "in my opinion" give your English that smooth, connected, native-like flow. Let's try a few. Frankly speaking, I don't think that's the best idea. Between you and me, I was a little nervous before the meeting. To be fair, the movie wasn't as bad as people said. These small touches add personality and flow, and they're a strong signal of real fluency. Let's bring several of these together in a longer practice passage. Repeat after me slowly. Frankly speaking, last week was exhausting. I was completely overwhelmed with work. Nevertheless, I managed to stay on track and finish everything on time. It seems my colleagues appreciated the effort, and I couldn't agree more that teamwork made the real difference. On the whole, it was a tough week, but I feel genuinely pleased with what we pulled off. Notice how that short passage combines strong vocabulary, connectors, collocations. And hedging language, that's exactly what C1 fluency sounds like. One of the most valuable C1 skills is rephrasing, saying the same idea a few different ways depending on context, which shows real flexibility. If someone asks, "Do you understand?" a basic answer is "Yes, I understand." At C1 you might say, "Yes, I follow your point," "Yes, I get what you mean," or "Yes, that makes sense to me." Each option carries a slightly different tone, formal, casual, or neutral. Let's practice. I follow your point, I get what you mean, that makes sense to me. Imagine a friend explaining a new app to you instead of just saying, "I understand." Try one of these alternatives. That flexibility is what makes you sound genuinely advanced. Another dimension of C1 is sophistication when sharing opinions. Lower-level learners tend to repeat "I think" over and over. At C1, you can branch out within my view, from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, if you ask me, and the way I see it. These not only enrich your speech but help you avoid repeating yourself. A genuine mark of advanced communication. Let's practice. In my view, this approach is more effective. From my perspective, we should try something different. As far as I'm concerned, learning English daily is the best strategy. If you ask me, the book was better than the movie, the way I see it. Practice leads to progress. Now you've got 5 fresh ways to share an opinion beyond just "I think." Advanced time expressions are also worth mastering since they often trip learners up. Instead of only "yesterday" or "last week," try "the other day," "in the meantime," "at the end of the day," or "in the long run." These phrases are extremely common among native speakers and give your speech a more authentic rhythm. Let's practice. I met her the other day. In the meantime, I'll keep working on this project. At the end of the day, we all want to be happy, in the long run. Practice always pays off. Try weaving one of these into your next story about your day. At C1, mastering the subtle line between formal and informal register also matters. Casually, you might say, "Can you help me out?" In a professional meeting, you'd more likely say, "Would you be able to assist me with this?" Same meaning, different level of formality. Let's practice. Can you help me out? Now, would you be able to assist me with this? Picture two scenarios, one with a close friend, one with your boss. Which phrase fits which situation? That awareness of context is exactly what makes your English sound sophisticated and appropriate. Another important C1 area is pairing phrasal verbs with their more formal single-word equivalents. Instead of put off, you might use postpone. Instead of come up with, try devise. Instead of give up, try surrender. Instead of find out, try discover. Phrasal verbs dominate spoken English, while their single-word cousins show up more in academic or professional writing, and a C1 speaker moves comfortably between both. Let's practice. We had to put off the meeting. Right arrow, we had to postpone the meeting. She came up with a new idea. Right arrow, she devised a new idea. He gave up the fight. Right arrow, he surrendered the fight. Did you find out the answer? Right arrow, did you discover the answer? Each pair feels a little different depending on context. But both versions are correct. That's the flexibility you're aiming for. Storytelling with advanced connectors is worth practicing too. Basic version: I went to Paris, I saw the Eiffel Tower, I took photos. I ate food. At C1, last summer I had the chance to visit Paris, and needless to say, it was unforgettable. Not only did I see the Eiffel Tower, but I also wandered through hidden streets and cozy cafes. Moreover, I took dozens of photos to keep as memories. And to top it all off, the food was absolutely exquisite. Hear the difference. The second version flows, engages, and paints a real picture. Let's practice it slowly, repeating each part after me. Now let's dig into cause and effect. Instead of always relying on because, you can use due to, owing to, as a result of, or thanks to. Instead of only so, try therefore, thus, consequently, or hence, these connectors. Enrich your vocabulary and lend your sentences an academic, polished feel. Let's practice. Due to the heavy rain, the match was cancelled. Owing to his dedication, he succeeded in his exams. As a result of the delay, the meeting was postponed. Thanks to her support, I felt more confident, and with alternatives, the team worked hard, therefore they achieved success. The evidence was clear, thus the case was closed. She didn't study, consequently she failed. He was the eldest, hence he took responsibility. These connectors will serve you especially well in essays, debates, and formal writing. Let's fold everything into one longer passage you can shadow. Repeat after me slowly. In the long run, learning English every day brings you closer to fluency. Owing to consistent practice, your confidence steadily grows. Moreover, as a result of applying advanced vocabulary, you begin to sound more natural and precise. At the end of the day, language is about connection, and needless to say, the more variety you have, the more deeply you can connect with people. Therefore, never stop challenging yourself, because every word you learn builds another step toward mastery. That's advanced fluency in action. At an advanced level, you also want to master emphasizing contrast, since native speakers do this constantly, and it makes conversation feel dynamic. Instead of a plain but, reach for however, nevertheless, nonetheless, even so, or having said that, each gives your English extra depth. Let's practice. I was tired. However, I kept working until midnight. It was raining, nevertheless we went for a walk. She was nervous, nonetheless she delivered a great presentation. The plan was risky. Even so, they decided to try it. I usually prefer tea. Having said that, I don't mind a cup of coffee sometimes. These words work just as well in speech as in writing. And using them shows you can handle real subtlety. C1 learners also stand out in how they express probability and possibility. Instead of always saying maybe, try, it's likely, it's probable, there's a good chance, it's doubtful, or it's highly unlikely. These let you signal different degrees of certainty useful in academic, professional, and everyday talk. Let's practice. It's likely that he'll arrive late. There's a good chance she'll win the competition. It's doubtful that they'll finish on time. It's highly unlikely that the store will be open now. Imagine predicting tomorrow's weather instead of maybe it will rain, say it's likely to rain tomorrow. That small shift instantly sounds more advanced. Let's also look at expressing cause and purpose. Instead of always using so that, try, in order to, with the aim of, for the purpose of, or so as to, these structures lengthen and enrich your sentences naturally. Let's practice. I studied hard in order to pass the exam. She joined the club with the aim of meeting new people. They organized the event for the purpose of raising funds. He spoke slowly so as to be understood clearly. These give you more ways to express intention or reason, in speaking and writing alike. Another powerful step is mastering synonyms with slightly different shades of tone. Take the word important. Instead of repeating it, you could use crucial, essential, vital, significant, or fundamental. For example, it is crucial to arrive on time. Exercise is essential for good health. Water is vital for survival. Education plays a significant role in society. Honesty is a fundamental value. Let's practice each of these. You now have 5 fresh ways to avoid repetition while sounding advanced. At C1, describing subtle feelings also matters. Instead of I'm happy, try I'm content, I'm pleased, I'm cheerful, I'm delighted, or I'm thrilled. Instead of I'm sad, try I'm upset, I'm downhearted, I'm sorrowful, or I'm devastated. These words add emotional color. Exactly what advanced English calls for. Let's practice. I'm content with my progress, I'm cheerful today, I'm delighted to see you again, I'm thrilled about the news, I'm upset about the result, I'm devastated after hearing what happened. Now, think about your own life and pick one advanced emotional word to describe how you feel today. Personalizing vocabulary helps it stick. Let's also work on storytelling with comparison and contrast. Basic, my town is big. At C1, compared to nearby towns, my city is significantly larger and more vibrant, although it can sometimes feel overcrowded. Notice how this version describes, compares, contrasts, and adds detail all at once. Repeat it slowly. Now take a simple sentence from your own life and expand it with a comparison or contrast. That's how you build fluency step by step. Let's expand degrees of opinion too. At a basic level, learners often say a flat I agree or I don't agree. At C1, try I agree to a certain extent, I agree up to a point, I generally agree, I strongly disagree, or I absolutely support that idea. These small shifts show you can handle nuance in discussion, rather than giving a plain yes or no answer. Let's practice. I agree to a certain extent, I generally agree, I strongly disagree, I absolutely support that idea. Picture a classroom or meeting where these expressions would make your English sound more confident and advanced. Let's close this section with a longer passage to shadow. Repeat after me slowly. In my view, developing advanced vocabulary is crucial for reaching C1 fluency. Compared to beginners, advanced learners can express subtle emotions, complex opinions, and detailed stories. Nevertheless, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes constant practice and repetition. As far as I'm concerned, the best way to get there is by using new words daily in order to make them part of your natural speech. At the end of the day, fluency isn't just about accuracy, it's about flexibility and confidence. That's exactly how your English grows stronger day by day. One of the biggest differences at C1 is sounding persuasive, useful not just in debates, but whenever you want to convince someone, make a suggestion, or share your view. Instead of I think this is good, try there are several reasons why this approach is effective, or the evidence strongly suggests that this method works better. Let's practice. There are several reasons why this approach is effective. The evidence strongly suggests that this method works better. It's clear that the benefits outweigh the disadvantages. I firmly believe. That consistent practice leads to fluency. Picture yourself in a meeting or even a casual chat. These phrases give your ideas weight without sounding forceful. Speculating about the past, present, or future is another advanced skill. Instead of plain statements, use modal verbs like might have, could have, should have, or would have. For example, he might have forgotten to call, they could have arrived earlier, I should have prepared better, she would have helped if she had known. These let you express possibility, regret, and imagine scenarios, a real hallmark of advanced speech. Let's practice each one, then think of a moment from your own past and describe it using one of these forms. Paraphrasing is another skill that sets advanced learners apart. explaining the same idea a few different ways without repeating yourself. Instead of only "it's very important to practice," you could say practice plays a vital role, regular practice is essential, or consistent practice is the key to progress. Let's shadow these. Slowly. This flexibility is one of the clearest signs you're approaching C1. Let's look at emphasis through inversion, flipping the normal word order for dramatic effect, which is common in advanced English. For example, never have I seen such a beautiful sunset. Rarely do we get the chance to experience something like that. Only after studying every day did I feel more confident. Let's practice each one these. Structures sound polished and native-like. And give your speech real power. Using conditionals with more nuance matters too. Beyond simple ones like "if it rains, I'll stay home," practice mixed and advanced conditionals. If I had studied harder, I would be more confident now. If she had left earlier, she might have caught the train. These blend past and present or future to describe imagined outcomes. Practice each slowly, then build your own example, maybe about missing an opportunity, and say it out loud. Cleft sentences are another way to add emphasis. Instead of "I liked the movie," try "what I really liked was the movie." Instead of "she helped me the most," try "it was she who helped me the most." Let's shadow. What I really liked was the movie. It was she who helped me the most. What I need right now is a break. It was the teacher who encouraged me to continue. These structures spotlight the exact part of your message that matters most. Let's tie all of this together in one full practice story. Repeat after me slowly. Never have I felt such excitement as when I finally reached my English goals. What I realized was that consistent daily practice truly makes a difference. If I had given up earlier, I wouldn't be speaking fluently now. There are several reasons practice works so well. It builds confidence, improves accuracy, and creates habits. Only after months of daily training did I understand how powerful these small steps really were. At the end of the day, fluency isn't about talent, it's about persistence. That's C1 level storytelling in action. At C1, one of your strongest tools is adding nuance to how you agree or disagree. Instead of a flat "I agree" or "I disagree," try showing degrees. "I agree with you to a large extent. I agree with you in principle, but I can see where you're coming from, however. I see it differently." These let you take part in a discussion with more depth, especially in academic or professional settings. Let's practice each one slowly. Notice how they make you sound thoughtful rather than just giving a yes or no response. C1 learners also shine when handling abstract topics, not just describing what you did yesterday, but discussing ideas like success, happiness, freedom, technology, or education with real depth. Instead of "success is important," you might say, "success is often measured in money and status, but in my opinion, true success lies in personal growth and happiness." That longer version shows you can explain, expand, and support an idea with detail, exactly what advanced communication demands. Let's shadow it slowly. Now pick a big topic like education or technology and try expanding your thoughts into 2 or 3 sentences instead of one. That's how you move from B2 to C1. Precision adverbs and adjectives also bring your descriptions to life. Instead of "he spoke loudly," try "he spoke assertively." Instead of "she answered quickly," try "she answered promptly." Instead of "they worked hard," try "they worked diligently." Let's practice. He spoke assertively, she answered promptly, they worked diligently. Once you master word choices like these, you start to sound like someone with real command of the language. Subtle contrast and balance are also worth practicing. You might say, on the one hand, learning vocabulary is time-consuming, on the other hand, it's essential for fluency. Or, while technology connects us, it can also isolate us. These balanced structures let you show more than one side of an issue, a genuinely advanced skill. Let's practice both. Next time you discuss a topic, try presenting both sides. It instantly makes you sound more reflective and advanced. Softening language politely is another key skill. Instead of "you are wrong," try "I'm not entirely convinced by that argument." Instead of "you need to do this," try "you might want to consider doing this." Let's practice. "I'm not entirely convinced by that argument. You might want to consider doing this. It seems to me that there could be another way." Try using one of these next time you give advice or pushback on something. Now let's build a more advanced storytelling passage. Basic, "I had a problem at work." I solved it at C1. Not long ago, I faced a significant challenge at work when our project fell behind schedule. At first, I was frustrated. However, I reminded myself that setbacks are part of the learning process. Consequently, I reorganized my schedule, delegated tasks more effectively, and in the end, the project was completed successfully. The experience taught me resilience and time management, skills I now value greatly. Let's shadow this slowly. This kind of expanded storytelling is exactly what C1 level speech sounds like. Let's finish with a longer passage that pulls together advanced connectors, emotion, and nuanced opinion. Repeat after me slowly. In today's world, it's undeniable that learning English is a crucial skill. While it can sometimes feel overwhelming, the long-term benefits are enormous. On the one hand, it takes daily effort. On the other hand, it opens doors to education, career opportunities, and friendships across the world. From my perspective, it's not just about vocabulary or grammar, it's about the confidence to express who you truly are. At the end of the day, fluency isn't about perfection, it's about communication, connection, and growth. That's advanced fluency, rich, expressive, and human. Let's look at explaining cause and effect with more subtlety. Instead of always using because, stretch your language with given that, owing to the fact that, in light of, or considering that. For example, the meeting was canceled owing to the fact that the storm made travel impossible, or, in light of the new regulations, the company had to change its strategy. Let's practice. The meeting was canceled owing to the fact that the storm made travel impossible. In light of the new regulations, the company had to change its strategy, considering that she was ill. It was understandable that she stayed home. These structures give you the flexibility to write essays, hold debates, and speak confidently in formal settings. Emphasizing contrast with more advanced phrasing also helps. Instead of just "it's important," try "what is essential is," "the key point is," or "the most striking thing is." Let's practice. What is essential is that we practice every day. The key point is that fluency takes time. The most striking thing is how quickly your English improves when you practice consistently. These structures give weight to your ideas and make you sound more persuasive. Let's also build up advanced linking phrases beyond and or but, like in addition to that, what's more, on top of that, and furthermore. Basic, I went to Rome, I saw the Colosseum. I ate pizza at C1, I went to Rome, and in addition to that, I had the chance to see the Colosseum, which was breathtaking. What's more, the pizza I had there was some of the best I've ever tasted. Let's practice. In addition to that, I had the chance to see the Colosseum. What's more, the pizza I ate there was some of the best I've ever tasted. Furthermore, I met new friends who made the trip unforgettable. Hear how these transitions make the story flow more naturally. Making concessions in speech is another hallmark of advanced fluency, admitting one side of an argument while still holding your position. Instead of a blunt "I disagree," try "while I see your point, I still believe that," or "although that's true to some extent, I would argue that." Let's practice. While I see your point, I still believe that practice is essential. Although that's true to some extent, I would argue that vocabulary must also be a priority. These sentences will serve you well in exams, discussions, and professional settings. Descriptive precision with people is also worth building. Instead of "he's nice," try "he's considerate," "he's compassionate," "he's approachable," or "he's charismatic." Instead of "she's smart," try "she's insightful," "she's innovative," or "she's perceptive." Let's practice each of these. Then think of a friend or teacher and try describing them with one advanced adjective instead of a simple one. Advanced adverbs bring sentences to life too. Instead of "she answered quickly," try "she answered promptly." Instead of "he worked hard," try "he worked tirelessly." Instead of "they reacted slowly," try "they reacted reluctantly." These show not just the action, but the feeling behind it, exactly the kind of detail C1 English thrives on. Let's combine everything into one longer storytelling passage. Repeat after me slowly. Although I was reluctant to join the meeting at first, I eventually agreed, considering that my team needed my support. What was essential was not just my presence, but my active contribution. In light of the tight deadlines, we worked tirelessly to finish the project on time. Furthermore, each team member showed remarkable dedication. On top of that, our manager was considerate and offered encouragement throughout. At the end of the day, although the task was exhausting, the results were truly rewarding. That's how your storytelling grows richer with every round of practice. Precision in describing attitudes and opinions matters too. Instead of "I like it," try "I genuinely admire it, I deeply appreciate it," or "I'm particularly fond of it." Instead of "I don't like it," try "I find it unappealing, it doesn't resonate with me," or "I'm not especially enthusiastic about it." Let's practice each. Then think of a movie, song, or book you've recently experienced and describe your feelings using one of these expressions. Describing uncertainty with nuance is another mark of C1 fluency. Instead of "I don't know," try "I'm not entirely certain, it remains unclear, the answer escapes me for now," or "I can't say with confidence." Let's practice each. These phrases let you take part in a conversation without sounding abrupt or limited. More advanced cause and effect vocabulary is also useful. Instead of "only so," try "as a consequence, as a result, thereby, or accordingly." For example, "She studied hard, thereby improving her chances of success." Or, "The company invested in training and accordingly, employee performance increased." Let's practice these. They'll add real sophistication to your English right away. Evaluating ideas with balanced language matters too. Instead of "That's good," try "That's a valid point, that's a reasonable observation," or "That's a well-founded argument." Instead of "That's bad," try "That's questionable, that's debatable," or "That's not entirely convincing." Let's practice each. These show critical thinking, which is essential for C1 level discussion. Let's explore advanced narrative techniques too. Instead of always starting with "then" or "after that," try "subsequently," "eventually," "in the aftermath," or "ultimately." For example, "The team worked day and night subsequently. They finished the project ahead of schedule," or "He faced many obstacles but ultimately he achieved his goal." Let's practice each of these. Concession clauses add another layer of contrast. "Although it was difficult, we managed to succeed. Even though I was tired, I kept going, despite the challenges. We completed the work. In spite of his lack of experience, he performed well." Let's practice each. These are common in essays, professional talk, and advanced everyday speech. Let's combine everything into one final long story. Repeat after me slowly. "Although the situation was uncertain, the team worked diligently to find solutions. In the aftermath of the first setback, they reorganized their approach. Subsequently, new strategies were applied, and as a result, performance improved significantly. While it remained unclear at first whether the project would succeed, it ultimately exceeded expectations. What impressed me most wasn't just the outcome, but the resilience everyone showed throughout. At the end of the day, it was a valid reminder that persistence, even in the face of challenges, leads to meaningful progress. Speculating about the future naturally is another C1 skill. Instead of "maybe it will happen," try "it's quite possible that it will happen," "there's every likelihood that it will take place," or "it seems probable that it will occur." Let's practice each. Notice how polished and confident they sound. Describing trends and changes rounds this out nicely. Instead of "it is getting better" or "it is getting worse," try "it is on the rise," "it is in decline," "it has been steadily improving," or "it has been gradually deteriorating." Let's practice. The use of renewable energy is on the rise. Traditional bookstores are in decline. My English has been steadily improving since I started daily practice. The situation has been gradually deteriorating over the past few months. Let's also work on expressing conditions and results with more sophistication. Instead of always using "if," try "provided that," "as long as," "on condition that," or "supposing that." For example, "You can succeed provided that you work consistently. I'll join you on condition that we finish early." Let's practice these. Plus, "supposing that it rains tomorrow, what will we do?" Finally, let's shadow one last full passage combining advanced connectors, conditionals, and nuance. Repeat after me slowly. "Supposing that we never practiced daily, our progress would be slow and frustrating. On the other hand, provided that we commit to even a small amount of English every day, the results can be astonishing." My own experience has shown that vocabulary builds steadily, and grammar becomes clearer with constant use. In light of this, I firmly believe that fluency is within everyone's reach, as long as persistence becomes a habit. Before we wrap up, remember, fluency at C1 isn't built in a day. It's built step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence. Every time you practice, every time you repeat, Every time you swap a simple phrase for a more advanced one, you move a little closer to your goal. You already have what it takes. What you need now is consistency and confidence. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this masterclass here on Motion English Podcast. I hope you practiced along, repeated the examples, and felt your English stretch into new territory. If you enjoyed this lesson and want more, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode that helps you grow, step by step. Your support means a lot, and together we'll keep building your confidence until advanced English feels completely natural. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember, every word you learn brings you one step closer to mastery. Take care, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next lesson.